Hello, everyone. Megan here. I'm so excited because I have a special guest today. It is my sister, Sarah Hannett.
Hi.
So Sarah and I live in two different towns. So when we always want to make joint videos together, but when we learned about the technology of Zoom, we realized we can. So that is what we are doing. Like you'll probably notice that Sarah's film is like a lot clearer and mine is quite grainy and pixely, and that's because I'm using my laptop. So I'm so sorry about that. Sarah looks way better. I'll let Sarah say something so you can see all her Harry Potter books.
Yeah, these are my Harry Potter books. I got them from our cousin Naomi. She has a channel too, Naomi's Bookshelf.
Yeah, I will link her below as well. But today, Sarah and I are here to do the Shakespeare Book Tag. The original tag was done by Libby Stevenson, and we are very excited to do this because Sarah is a huge Shakespeare fan. I'm not quite as much as Sarah, but Sarah loves Shakespeare, so that's why we're going to do it together. Question number 1. What was your first exposure to Shakespeare?
Okay, so my first actual exposure to Shakespeare would have been when I was like 5. I don't remember the exact age. We went to our local theater, and they were doing a production of, I think it was Peter and the Wolf, but the first half was basically just scenes from lots of different things. I can't remember most of it, but I can remember 2 shots distinctly. One is from what I assume is Act 1, Scene 1, where Hermia is kneeling on the ground and there was a bunch of men standing around her, so presumably her father, the 2 boys, Theseus, all those guys. And then from the other shot I can remember is Puck peeking out from behind a tree saying, "Follow my voice." So that would have, of course, been much later in the play, but they didn't do the full play. I think they just did like 2 or 3 scenes. But I didn't really understand any of it because I was like 5 until much later when Megan was studying it in school, and she kind of started telling me about it. And that's when I started to really absorb what it was. So yeah, Midsummer.
Yeah, and for me, it was the same exposure, at least that I can remember. It was that same production of Peter and the Wolf in the first half and then Midsummer Night's Dream in the second half, something like that, or maybe it was the other way around. What I remember about it is that these 2 girls in pastel dresses running around with 2 boys, and I remember being like, that looks like so much fun, and that was the 4 lovers, of course. Okay, question 2. Which Shakespeare plays and poems have you read?
Okay, substantially less than I care to admit, honestly, but here it goes. So I've read Midsummer Night's Dream, The Tempest, Macbeth, Hamlet, Taming of the Shrew, Romeo and Juliet, Sonnet 116, which is the Let Me Not to the Marriage of True Minds Admitted Impediments one, and then Sonnet 130, which is My Mistress' Eyes or Nothing Like the Sun, and then I'm pretty sure there's one other one that I can't remember the exact number, but it's a sonnet, and I did it during a Shakespeare workshop that I actually did with Megan.
Yeah, and for me, I've read a bunch of sonnets. I don't remember the numbers like Sarah did. I've also read As You Like It, Comedy of Errors, Measure for Measure, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, The Taming of the Shrew, The Tempest, Twelfth Night, Julius Caesar, King Lear, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, and Troilus and Cressida. You gotta breathe.
I know you read Troilus and Cressida.
Yeah, I read Troilus and Cressida. I was playing Cressida for a class, and so I read the play. Next question, which have you seen either on stage or on film?
So due to where I live, I don't really have access to a lot of stage productions, but I have managed to see a few. So I've seen A Midsummer Night's Dream twice, once done by a high school here in town, and that's what really got me into Shakespeare, and once done at another location, and Megan was in that one, which was awesome. And then I've also seen The Tempest, Romeo and Juliet, and Much Ado About Nothing. And then for movies, I have seen Henry IV Parts 1 and 2, most of Richard II, Henry V, those are the Hall Crown versions, Midsummer Night's Dream, the David Tennant version of Hamlet, bits and pieces of other versions of Hamlet, the Kenneth Branagh Much Ado About Nothing, which I love, the Taming of the Shrew, which I don't love, and Romeo and Juliet. And then I've also seen a couple filmed stage productions. One was in Stratford, Ontario, and it was of The Tempest. Christopher Plummer was playing Prospero. It was incredible. I absolutely loved it. And the other one is the Benedict Cumberbatch version of Hamlet, which is really, really, really amazing. If you get a chance to see it, please do. Oh my goodness, it's incredible.
Awesome. All right, next. Well, actually, I have to answer the question first. Whoops. Let's see. So what have I seen? I'm not going to distinguish whether I've seen it on film or on stage. Some of them I've seen both. Some of them I've seen 2 stage versions. Some of them I've seen 2 film versions. So I'll just list them off. As You Like It, Comedy of Errors, Love's Labour's Lost, Merry Wives of Windsor, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, The Taming of the Shrew, The Tempest, Twelfth Night, Henry V, Hamlet, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet. So those are the ones I've seen. Okay, question 4. Do you have a favorite edition of the complete works?
So I don't have a favorite edition of the complete works just because I find they're kind of cumbersome to work with when the book is that big, and I've had trouble finding an actual set of all the books together. However, there is one series of the plays that I do really love, and that's the Oxford School Shakespeare series. This is what I learned Midsummer Night's Dream out of initially, and I did do it on my own, and this book was enough to teach me. So yeah, I really love this book. It's got really good side notes. It has analyses listed. It has summaries of the scenes plus analysis of the scene later. It's amazing.
And yeah, for me, I don't have a favorite complete works, but I'll show you what I have. This is my complete works. I got it. It's really fuzzy with my laptop camera. But yeah, I got this at a used bookstore before I attended theater school. So Libby Stevenson is asking for your favorite comedy, history, and tragedy. So what are your 3 favorites, Sarah?
So I'm really glad she's letting us do one in each category because I love so many of these plays so much. I can't really pick a single favorite. Well, I have actually. I've got a top 10 list, and that's in a full playlist with like 5 or 6 different videos, but that's beside the point. My favorite comedy is A Midsummer Night's Dream, which, yeah, it was my first play, and it's just kind of stayed in my heart. Plus, it has fairies in it, and that's always a big plus for me. My favorite history is Henry V, which it's just so fascinating. I love the main character. I love the whole world it sets up. I love the questions about authority and leadership it asks. And my favorite tragedy is Hamlet, which I know is not super creative, but I just love the story so much. I find I really like stories that have a central, really interesting character. I find ensemble pieces, while still good, I just personally enjoy them a bit less. So, yeah.
And I will link below the playlist of Sarah's videos where she's talking about Shakespeare and ranking them and all that. They're really interesting. They're very in-depth. So I would highly recommend those. Now, for me answering the question, I'm going to totally cheat. So Libby, if you watch this, I'm so sorry. I'm totally cheating here. But, you know, actors do that. They don't really follow the rules. They do it the way they want to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't have a favorite history or a favorite tragedy. I'm not a big fan of the histories or tragedies. I'm sure I could be, but I just haven't made myself do that. So I'll just tell you my 3 favorite comedies, which are my 3 favorite Shakespeare plays. So let's see. They are Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, and Twelfth Night. I also really like As You Like It. That's another comedy. Now, question number 8, least favorite play.
Okay. Yeah, this was very easy for me to answer. I kind of detest Taming of the Shrew. It's the only Shakespeare play that I legitimately hate. There are others that I have issues with, but I can't stand Taming of the Shrew. There's a reason I haven't done a single video about it, and it's because I just do not want to make a video that negative. So yeah, Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah, now that you say that, I'm like, oh no, Taming of the Shrew is my least favorite. I didn't even think of it. I don't know why, but yeah, Taming of the Shrew is my least favorite. My answer from before, though, was Titus Andronicus, just because it is so bloody. And this is also a cheat because I actually haven't read it all the way through. I've just, you know, listened to portions of it, listened to fellow actors do monologues from it and talk about, you know, crushing people's bones and making pies out of them, and I'm just like, no, I'm not into that.
Yeah, I kind of described Titus Andronicus as being a mix of Julius Caesar, Sweeney Todd, and like, I don't know, I can't remember what the third thing was, but yeah, there's some definite really dark tones in there.
The next question is, which play would you want to direct?
Hamlet, for me, just because there's so many different ways you can take that main character, and I would actually like to try and see if I could make the character a female, because it's so interesting, and it's not fair that so many of Shakespeare's best characters are male. Well, that's overstating it a bit, but you know.
I think I had some friends in Hamlet where the Hamlet was a female, so it's definitely doable.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen that.
For me, if I could direct one, it would be Julius Caesar. And the reason why I say this, I know that's a weird choice for me at least. The reason why I would say Julius Caesar is because when I was in high school, I did like a comedy version of Julius Caesar. I was in a comedy version of it. Originally, it was done by Wayne and Schuster. it's like a 20-minute sketch or mini play where they set it in that time, but they kind of they change it to modern language. So it's really funny how they're like when what's her name? Calpurnia, is that her name? The wife? Calpurnia. Yeah, when Calpurnia is trying to tell her Julius Caesar not to, beware the Ides of March, the way she puts it is, she says, "Julie, don't go. I said, Julie, don't go. Beware the Ides of March." And so she kind of talks like that. So I would want to take like Shakespeare's original text, but then turn it into an outrageous, hilarious comedy, even though it's a tragedy.
Okay, I want to see that. Yeah. Oh, and if you're wanting to see that Wayne and Schuster sketch, it's called Rinse the Blood Off My Toga. It is so funny. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so when I was in that high school version, I got to play Brutus, which was the character that Schuster originally played. They're a comedy duo, in case I didn't say that, Wayne and Schuster. So I played the Brutus character, and it was really fun.
Yeah, she had quite the swagger going on with that character and a very fun accent.
So question 10, which lesser-known play do you think deserves more attention, or which lesser-known play are you most excited about?
So I had to think a little bit about this one, but I decided to go with Cymbeline, just because the main character, Imogen, sorry, I don't know which way it's pronounced, is really, really interesting. She goes through a lot of stuff in this play.
For me, the lesser-known work, I mean, it's not that lesser-known, but it's not as big as Midsummer or Hamlet or whatever, so I would say Measure for Measure. No reason. It's got a good I guess the reason is it's got a good female character. Isabella is awesome.
And Megan has actually done monologues from Isabella when she was in theater school. So
yes, I played Isabella. We did in my Shakespeare classes, we did scenes. And then we really, spent a lot of time digging into them, and then we performed them. So yeah, here I'll list off. We'll lead into the bonus if relevant. What is your favorite play to teach or perform? So I'll just list off this. So in that Shakespeare class where we really dived into those roles and we performed them, I played Isabella from Measure for Measure, Olivia in Twelfth Night, Viola in Twelfth Night, Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing, Rosalind in As You Like It, and Cressida in Troilus and Cressida, and I played a bucket list role of mine, which was Helena in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Sarah's going like this.
Yeah, watching Megan play Helena was amazing. Also, it was really funny because she got the role, and I'd known she wanted the role, and so she called me because I was at a different college, and I picked up the phone and like, I'm not gonna full on scream because camera, but I basically screamed her name into the phone because she'd already texted it to me. So there were a lot of long talks over the phone when she was having that role.
Yes, lots of in-depth discussions about Midsummer Night's Dream and all those characters. It was really, really fun. It was such a good experience. I wish you could have been in it, Sarah. You should have been.
That would have been so great. If I was going to teach or perform one, I would probably want to go with Hamlet, just because I kind of want to see that set in a setting that isn't either Renaissance or modern day. So, or I guess there is one version set in Civil War or post-Civil War South, but it might be kind of fun to try doing it in like steampunk or outer space or something like that. I don't know, but it'd be cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I guess that is the Shakespeare tag, unless you had anything else to add, Sarah.
I have said a lot already in my own videos, and I'll probably say more, so I'm just gonna not right now.
Just cap it there. Yeah, I'll link that playlist below for Sarah. So if you are a Shakespeare lover, I'm sure you will love those videos. So yeah, that was the Shakespeare tag. I don't think we're going to tag anyone. If you want to do this, do it. It was really fun. Thank you, Libby, for creating it. And so yeah, that's all for now, but may you all be filled with peace, hope, love, and joy. So take care, everyone. Bye. Love you, Sarah.
Love you, man.
Bye.
Bye.